The knock on the door came just after midnight. It was soft, almost hesitant. Not the kind of knock a person makes. Margaret Lewis almost ignored it, but when the sound came again, 3 gentle taps, she felt a strange chill run down her spine. Because for 8 long years, no one had knocked on her door at that hour. And the moment she opened it, her entire past was waiting on the porch. Margaret Lewis was 72 years old and lived alone in a quiet neighborhood in Vermont. Her small white house sat at the end of Maple Street, surrounded by tall oak trees and memories that refused to fade. Most evenings followed the same routine. She brewed a cup of chamomile tea. She sat by the living room window, and she watched the empty sidewalk outside. Neighbors often waved when they passed by, but they rarely stopped. Loneliness had a way of becoming invisible to the outside world. Yet Margaret hadn't always been alone. 8 years earlier, her house had been filled with life, laughter, and the soft sound of paws walking across the wooden floor. His name was Oliver, a fluffy gray cat with bright green eyes and a personality bigger than the tiny house he lived in. Oliver wasn't just a pet, he was family. Margaret had found Oliver one rainy autumn evening behind a grocery store. The kitten was soaked, shivering, and crying beneath a dumpster. Most people would have walked past, but Margaret couldn't. She wrapped the tiny kitten in her scarf and carried him home. From that moment on, Oliver followed her everywhere. He waited by the door when she went to the store. He slept on the pillow beside her every night, and every morning he greeted her with a gentle paw on her cheek, as if to say, "You're not alone." For Margaret, who had lost her husband years earlier and had no children, Oliver became the light that filled the quiet spaces of her life. The house no longer felt empty, it felt alive. But then, one cold winter morning, everything changed. Margaret woke up and called Oliver like she always did. "Breakfast time, sweetheart." No answer. She checked the kitchen, the living room, the bedroom, the porch. Oliver was gone. At first, she thought he had slipped outside. Cats did that sometimes. But hours passed, then a full day, then another. Oliver never returned. Margaret searched everywhere. She walked the neighborhood calling his name. She taped missing posters to telephone poles. She visited every animal shelter within 50 miles. Months turned into years. Months turned into years. And slowly, the hope faded. People told her the truth she didn't want to hear. Cats wander. Maybe someone adopted him. Maybe he didn't make it. Margaret tried to accept it, but every evening she still left a small bowl of food on the porch, just in case. 8 years passed. The posters faded. The neighbors changed. Even the trees in the yard grew taller. But Margaret never moved the small photo of Oliver that sat on her nightstand. Sometimes she spoke to it before going to sleep. "I hope you're safe out there." Deep down, she knew the truth. 8 years was too long. Oliver was gone forever. Or so she believed. That night in October was colder than usual. Wind rustled through the trees, making the old house creak softly. Margaret had just turned off the living room lamp when she heard the sound. Tap, tap, tap. At first, she froze. Visitors never came this late. Her heart beat faster as she walked slowly toward the front door. Another tap, softer this time. Margaret hesitated before opening it. The porch light flickered on, and there, sitting quietly on the wooden step, was a cat. At first glance, Margaret thought it was just a stray. The cat looked older, thinner, and its once soft fur was rough and uneven. But its eyes, those bright green eyes, her breath caught in her throat. "No," she whispered. Her hands trembled. The cat stared at her calmly. Then slowly it let out a soft, familiar meow, a sound Margaret hadn't heard in 8 years. "Oliver?" The name escaped her lips like a fragile prayer. The cat tilted its head slightly. Then slowly, it stepped forward. She fell to her knees. Tears blurred her vision as she reached out. The cat sniffed her hand, and then, just like it used to do years ago, it rubbed its head gently against her palm. Margaret began to cry. Not quiet tears, but deep, shaking sobs that came from years of loss and longing. "It's you! It's really you!" Oliver had come home, but the mystery was only beginning. Where had he been all these years? How had he survived? And most importantly, how had he found his way back? The next morning, Margaret took Oliver to the local veterinarian. Dr. Harris had known Margaret for years. When he saw the animal carrier on the table, he smiled politely. "New friend?" he asked. Margaret shook her head. "No, an old one." When Oliver stepped out of the carrier, Dr. Harris paused. He leaned closer. Then his eyes widened. "Wait a minute." He gently examined the cat, then scanned the small microchip beneath its skin. The computer beeped. Dr. Harris stared at the screen in disbelief. "Well, I'll be." Margaret's heart pounded. "What is it?" Dr. Harris turned the monitor toward her. "This really is Oliver." But the microchip revealed something even stranger. 8 years earlier, Oliver had been scanned at an animal clinic, not in Vermont, but in Colorado, over 1,800 miles away. Margaret blinked in confusion. "Colorado?" Dr. Harris nodded. "Someone found him there years ago." Margaret's mind struggled to understand. How had Oliver traveled across half the country? And how had he found his way back now? Over the next few weeks, pieces of the mystery slowly came together. The clinic in Colorado contacted Margaret. A family there had found Oliver wandering near a highway years ago. They took him in and cared for him. They didn't know he had a microchip. To them, he was just a stray who needed love. They named him Shadow. For years, Oliver lived with them. He slept by their fireplace, played with their children, and watched snow fall outside a house far away from the one he once knew. But recently, something changed. The family had moved overseas, and Oliver had been taken to a shelter. From there, somehow, he disappeared. No one knew exactly how, but months later, he appeared on Margaret's porch. Experts later said something remarkable. Cats have powerful instincts. They can remember places, scents, even voices. Somehow, after 8 long years, Oliver remembered home, and against all odds, he found his way back. Life in Margaret's house changed overnight. The silence disappeared. Tiny paws once again echoed across the wooden floor. Every morning, Oliver climbed onto the bed and gently tapped Margaret's cheek, just like he used to. And every time it happened, Margaret smiled through tears, because she knew something extraordinary had happened. Not luck, not coincidence, but love. One evening, Margaret sat on the porch with Oliver resting in her lap. The sunset painted the sky in shades of gold and pink. She gently stroked his gray fur. "You came back," she whispered. Oliver purred softly, as if the journey, the years, the miles between them had never mattered at all. Sometimes, the world separates us from the ones we love. Sometimes it takes years or impossible journeys to find our way back. But if a tiny cat can cross thousands of miles and return home after 8 long years, then maybe love never truly gets lost. Maybe it just waits patiently until the day it finds its way home. If this story touched your heart, take a moment to like this video and share it with someone who loves animals. And if you believe pets are truly family, subscribe to the channel for more incredible true stories.